How come I'm always the one that ends up under the bus? Teamwork makes the dream work, baby! Sometimes pictures will come across your Instagram or Facebook feeds that are of these absolutely adorable conversions that people did on school buses, and you just think, oh, that is so quaint and cozy. How much fun would it be to have one of those? And I don't think people really realize how much time and effort is spent on all the prep work before you can even remotely get it to look cute like that. One thing about school buses, though, is that they are built to be freaking indestructible in a way that other RVs are not, which is part of what makes them desirable to turn it into an RV like this. You just got to know what you're getting into in terms of the work, and that it's going to be quite a while before it's Instagram ready. Well, that was a pretty successful day. We got through almost all of these rivets on the side panels in about 3 hours. And compared to what it took us to do the ceiling, that was pretty awesome. We had a very easy time with it right up until the very end at the back of the bus, and all of a sudden it got a lot more difficult. But for now, I am pretty excited about how far we got today. We got all the way up to this window and realized that we're gonna actually have to cut this off because of the way this is attached to this emergency window. So without taking the window out, we're just gonna have to cut around it for now, and then we'll deal with it when we do take the windows out.
So,
all right. Here we go again.
that's all of it. What?
Oh, nothing. Kind of flat. Kind of plug it. Yeah.
Well, we've now reached a point where we can't really move forward until we start pulling stuff out of the dash, because we can't take this last piece of paneling down without moving everything out of the way. So we got the seat out of the way. Okay. Okay. All right, got it. And now he's taking a million pictures of the front so we can make sure we know where everything goes and where it goes back, and depending on what we decide to do with the dash. So this one actually makes me a bit nervous. There's a lot of cords in there to try to figure out.
Oh yeah, nice wasp's nest down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's leave that here.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of...
Because we need to get to this, right?
Well, we need to get to this, but it's more important to kind of know what the cable cell
Well, no,
says,
I know. I'm
right?
saying, I know.
Videos and how to dissect all that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, this is going to be fun. load for the scrapyard. You know, say what you will about minivans, but they are extremely versatile. We came out here yesterday to... That was the County Sheriff's Department with their new single, Hellfire, the follow-up to Gunshot Serenade. We came out here yesterday and pulled out the heater from the bus. Bus heaters only operate when the engine's actually turned on, which is fine when it's a school bus, but it's really not so great for camping, so they have to come out. And this can be a pretty daunting task for a lot of people, myself included, but I learned a lot yesterday. The first thing you need to do is trace the path of the coolant lines. And in our bus, the coolant starts at the radiator, it flows through a line underneath the hood, and then enters the bus at the driver's side. It runs along the length of the bus to the heater back by the wheel well, then flows from there back to the heater at the front of the bus by the driver's feet. From there, it goes back out under the hood, where it then enters the engine. It does its thing through the engine, then ends up back at the radiator, where the whole process starts over. This is called a closed system because the coolant is constantly recirculated and never burns off. It's just one big loop. When you remove the heaters, you leave gaps in this system, which will obviously be problematic, so you need to connect the radiator back to the engine directly. Essentially, you're just making the loop of the closed system shorter by cutting off the piece that runs to the heaters. First, make sure to turn off both of the shutoff valves, one at the radiator and one where it enters the engine. There's always coolant in the lines, so when you start disconnecting them, make sure you have a bucket to catch it. It's going to get a little bit messy.
All right.
Those coolant lines inside the bus might be hidden behind some metal framing pieces initially, so you may have to pull those off first before you can get to them. We took a piece of the tubing that we had cut off, which looked like it was still in good condition, and used it to connect the radiator directly to the engine using the same clamps that were on there before. We made sure they were nice and tight, opened the valves back up, and turned the engine on to check for leaks. Since some of the coolant had spilled, there was still a little bit of smoke or steam from it burning off as the engine heated up, but no leaks, and no engine lights indicated that we were low on coolant. It seems like the only coolant that we lost was whatever was already circulating to the heaters, but you definitely want to check your coolant level once you're done with this. And then once we had the coolant lines disconnected, it was easy to disconnect the rest of it. Every time I've cut an electrical cord in this bus, I've marked it to make sure I can remember what it goes to, because at some point we are going to have to deal with that cable salad that we mentioned before, and it's going to be a lot easier if we know where everything went to begin with.
All right, go ahead, cut it.
Go ahead, cut it. You heard it here. You said I could do it. You're the project manager on this thing.
Oh, all of a sudden, huh?
What do you mean all of a sudden? It's been like that the whole time. I haven't been in charge here. I've been following. I'm just doing what I'm told.
Every government employee ever.
Just following orders. You want to help me carry this thing back?
Yes.
Thank you. And now that we've got the heater and the driver's seat out of the way, we can get the rest of this flooring up, get the last wall panel off, take some more metal to the scrapyard, and finally get to work on actually building this bus back up, which is really, really exciting. Oof. Oh, good grief. Oh, glad the other stuff was so rotted. This is not, and it is a pain in my tuchus. Ha! Ah. Ow! Ow! Ow, my funny bone! I need a day off after this. Yay! Like that. Yay! Oh, come on. Oh, no. You mother. Hey. Woo, yay. You ever wonder where your kid loses their pencils at school? I think it's here.